Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka, and you are Dead Dudes Nation. Thanks again for joining us today as we hit you up with some interesting updates in all the world's happening. Hold on one second.
Welcome, Dead Air Dudes Nation, as we have another trip into the Hollywood rapid fire, and we're going to discuss everything from movies to shows to video games to everything in between. So, how's everyone doing out there? And Raka, want to start off, or should I start off?
All right, let's start this off. We haven't really ventured into the world of video games, and we are big gamers to all those out there that don't know. For some people that do know, we've been playing video games actually for the better part of most of my adult life, into my childhood actually, way back to the Atari. Either way,
Raka's dating us up right about now, so
hey, you could still buy Atari today, so you know. All right, so what has come out? We have Microsoft Xbox, the Series X, and then we have the Sony PS5. Okay, so the two main big hitters, Microsoft and Sony, are coming at you. Of course, Nintendo Switch came out last year, and that's been a big draw. In fact, I think they outsold now most of the consoles combined. They've made a killing, the Nintendo Switch. I've seen it in action. I don't have one myself. I want to get one. In this
this
world where everybody's mobile and to go, it's fantastic.
was actually pretty intelligent because it was actually conceived as a kids, aimed towards kids, but with an adult slant. With the games, it actually finally had some decent to very good adult type games that, you know, and
Hey,
for a good while
who's
it
judge?
was actually very difficult to get a Switch, and now they made the Switch Lite, and that was a big pain in the neck to catch also. Which now it brings us to the Xbox Series X and the PS5, which are nearly impossible to find. If you did not pre-order them and you don't have it now,
Oh,
sorry, you will
I
not
know
have it
people.
until next year.
I know people that were smart enough to buy multiple. They had pre-orders for multiple ones,
Yeah.
and they've sold two or three of their excess ones and basically paid off their Xbox. They basically got it for free
Yeah,
because you can
same,
ask them
same here.
for it. So, okay, so and a real small tidbit. One of my biggest regrets is giving away to my nephew many moons ago my my GameCube, and I didn't know that a year later he flipped it and sold it. Like I should have kept it. I should have kept it. Anyway, Microsoft Xbox Series X, PS5. So the Series X came out November 10th at $499. Of course, there's pre-orders up the wazoo. Same with the Sony PS5, which came out November 12th for the same price. Now, both have a more affordable price, the Series S for the Xbox, and then the digital edition for PS5. Series S Xbox is $299, and PS5, the digital edition, so discless, $399. And of course, each has a subscription service that you can get into so that you can just go digital in this world where there is no such thing as a game cartridge anymore, which again, I'm dating myself, but for everybody else out there that knows video games, that's how the world ran.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why they release these lesser expensive, lesser priced models because they're digital, meaning you won't need the
You don't need the actual physical
yeah,
game,
you just
but
download,
they're
which is
making
what
money hand
everyone does
over
anyway.
fist.
I mean, so it's like,
So you join their service as a member and you're privy to all these games, and then you get a premium package and you get more games. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick rundown for side-by-side comparison. Um, the Xbox Series X is slightly more powerful, but slightly, than the PS5. The processor is at 3.8 gigahertz versus at 3.5 for the Sony. Now, what a lot of really minutia gamers are going to look into is in the teraflops, where the Xbox Series X has 1.7 more teraflops than the PS5. Now, this is basically for computing speed,
no.
but
Let me interject one thing.
but there's a balancing out factor.
space.
the balancing factor with everything is not just the storage and the memory and the processor, is the exclusive games that each
Of course.
system has, and that's how ultimately you as a gamer is going to rate it. They're very comparable. You're talking about, you're arguing mini micro levels of units. They both have the same kind of storage. They're both super fast. They're both built with the intention that there's going to be an 8K television that everybody's going to own, because they're all both built for 4K and then 8K. So they're looking already ahead at how this is going to fit into your future tech and compatibility with phones and digital medium and everything else. So now it really does just boil down to the exclusive games that each one has, because there's many games that both run concurrent on both, but the exclusive games on each, for example, Halo on that, and then Call of Duty on PS5, and blah, 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 blah. The gameplay, the game speed, I think it's on the same level.
Yeah,
The
they've
the
had they've had
visual,
different they've had different comparisons, and they've actually Digital Foundry, I do believe, they they compared Devil May 5, the special edition, and they compared it side by side, the PS5 and the Series X, and they found that basically there was almost no difference. It was, and they ran it up to 4K, locked the ceiling of 120 frames per second, and it was when they went like category per category. In one category, the Series X was went on paper with the higher powered specs, giving it an edge over the PS5. And then the other one, the PS5 one, it was all right. In some modes, the Xbox had a slight edge. In all cases, every to equal to off by 2 to 3 frames out of 90 to 100. Ray tracing is also a mixed bag. Xbox winning only just in one mode, while the PS5 winning in only just another. Same goes for loading time, with the PS5 having a slight edge, but it's so slight that the difference is negligible. So bottom line, like you said, it's whether or not which games do you prefer. Now, the exclusive, what Sony has going for it is that they have a great number of exclusive games, including, you're talking about Spider-Man Miles Morales, you're talking about a retooled and remastered Demon Souls, Sackboy, Godfall, Bug Snacks, Astro's Playroom, we can go on and on and on and on. Then you have other games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which are for both, not to mention they already announced God of War, Ragnarok for, PS5. And while Xbox, there's no slouch, they have different iterations of newer games, like you said, the Call of Duties and the new
Halo, Gear 5, Gears 5. It goes on and on and on. So again, it's in the hands of the gamer and which the gamer prefers. If I would project in the future, I think at some point it would behoove both companies if they could have some interface games, because they're just all going to profit. There's always going to be exclusive games. Again, really depends where your allegiance lies as far as storylines and gameplay. I think from a graphics point of view, the shock and awe is very, very minimal as far as the difference goes.
Right. It's so hey, if you're an Xbox
That's
head,
our video game tidbit.
well, speaking of video games, that nice segue leads us into some PS4 news. Still around, may chance. Ghost of Tsushima, I probably like that name, is the fastest-selling PS4 title ever. Kind of shocking. It's probably one of the last big exclusive games for Sony and the PS4. And it sold 4 million copies since July, which puts that out of the top 10 of all time, number 9. Now, Raka, do you know what are the other 9?
No, I do not.
Would you like to
Hit me
know
up.
what the other 9 are? Okay.
I and the rest of those out there would like to know.
All right. Coming in at number 10, Persona 5 at 3.2 million. Like I already mentioned, you have a tie with Ghost of Tsushima and Detroit Become Human at both at 4 million. The Last of Us Part 2 also coming in at 8 with 4 million. 7
Wait a minute. So let's pause right there. The
yes.
Last of Us is a fantastic series.
Yes.
Um, I know many people who are real dedicated fans of the whole Last of Us, and in as far as survival zombie games go, nothing will ever personally replace Resident Evil for me, but it adds a very good survival spin on things, both graphic and moral dilemmas. You
Yeah.
know, and simple. But I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised it's ninth on the list. But carry on.
Well, I mean, it's still, don't forget, I mean, these numbers are 4 million is 4 million. It's still a lot of games. And not to mention, you, you're going to see
I know.
the console when it gets to the PS5, they're going to do a remastered version, and it's going to probably sell another 4 million. It's going to be a huge hit again. So, all right, number 7, the Final Fantasy 7 remake at 5 million.
Of course, because that's really an occult. It's a cult following.
Yes. Infamous Second Son, that kind of surprised me, at 6 million. And number 5, the original Last of Us, the remastered version, at 10 million.
Of course.
Number 4 is Horizon Zero Dawn, also at 10 million. Number 3, God of War at 12. Number
Absolutely.
2, Spider-Man at 13.2 million. And the granddaddy of them all, number 1, Nathan Drake and Uncharted 4 at 16 million, making it the highest grossing PS4 game of all time.
Good damn.
Can't wait for the movie, by the way. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, it goes to show with follow the money. I mean, of course they're gonna make a movie out of the number one selling, and by a long stretch.
All right, now let's give a couple tidbits and some facts and figures and some rumors and innuendo from Hollywood. You ready? Let's do this.
Where you want to hit first? Are we going zombie route? Are we going Marvel? Where are we going?
We're going, we're going a little bit of everything. Let's start off with Marvel and DC. Sylvester Stallone is set to appear in Suicide Squad as a cameo appearance. I mean, okay, cool. Just makes the movie even more enjoyable.
Suicide Squad, it has been largely revamped, right?
Oh yeah, well this is the new Suicide Squad with James Gunn that has been completely retooled, revamped, redone, rewritten,
and recharacterized.
Recharacterized, except for I do believe 3 characters. You have Rick Flag, you have Harley Quinn, you have Captain Boomerang, I think Amanda Waller, and that might be it.
And most of everybody else has been recasted.
Yeah, it's a cast of hundreds. It's like 16 or 17 different freaking, villains and turn to heroes that are gonna probably fall by the wayside and be assassinated. All right, Chris Pratt is going to be and appear in Thor.
Well, that's no shocker.
Love and Thunder
left it. Yeah, they had kind of merged Thor into the Guardians of Galaxy universe and vice versa. So I don't project or prognosticate that it's going to be a huge chunk, but I'm sure his part in there will be integral to their future intertwined worlds. You now cannot separate Thor's world and the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is actually a good thing. I think one of the greatest things that came out of the the final Avengers 4 was that pairing. It worked well because they both actually have a humorous base.
Yeah, well,
You know,
you have this fish out of water, and then you have so many jokes
you
and
have
so much stuff going on that you could talk about it forever. It's awesome.
you have Thor the god that cannot gel with humans and regular people, and then you have the cast of Misfits. I love it. I think it's a fantastic idea. It can only add to the value and to the entertainment value of both.
Indeed. It seems that the reshoots for Justice League, after all this money, after all getting all the actors back, is only going to amount to 4 to 5 minutes total.
Schneider.
Oh, Snyder, you can be so great and do Dawn of the Dead, yet you give us Sucker Punch, and then you give us Justice League.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, I think that DC is making bad decision after bad decision, just choking when you get to the
Well, at this
finish line.
point, man, I mean, the cat's out of the bag, so F it, you know?
I guess.
Now, you've heard all the, I'm not going to take any sides or whatever, you've heard the story between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and and all the lawsuits and everything and how,
Yeah, it's getting ugly. Well, it's been ugly.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
it's been
all,
very ugly.
all that has caused Johnny Depp to bow out of Fantastic Beasts Part 3, and it's
Yes.
also caused now a petition to oust Amber Heard from Aquaman 2.
Which
1.3 million people have signed this petition already to get her out.
she was fantastic in that role, I have to say. I mean, it's not impossible to write her out. You could do an Aquaman 2 without her. I see it. It's better with her.
How
It's
about it?
unfortunate how the personal life is playing into the cinematic life.
Yeah.
And it's also quite poetic justice and ironic. But on a secondary note to that whole subject, somebody check on Johnny. Is Johnny all right? Johnny okay? He's my man. I mean, he's been in so many iconic roles of movies that I love. I can go on and on and on and on. I mean, go all the way back to Nightmare on Elm Street to The
Yeah.
Barber Seville to Edward Scissorhands. I mean, you go on and on and on. Somebody check on this boy. See if he's all right. Hand him $1.
We need to have you guys check out our Johnny Depp retrospective coming real soon. But yeah, so this kind of forced her to actually comment on social media that she is looking forward to reportraying the role of Mera, and that that's what the fans want, and all that good stuff. So yeah, and DC has not pretty much said anything. Oh, with the COVID and everything's been pushed back and postponed. So we know there's a part 2. We don't know when the heck the part 2 is coming. Maybe 2022. Who knows?
Rumor has it after the 4.5 wave, and then you'll be out.
Ooh. Rock is trying to get political.
No.
which brings some Marvel news. They actually mentioned someone. I wish I could quote it, but I did read on several sources that someone had mentioned whether or not, because the rumor was that they wanted to digitally, have Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther 2 to kind of write him out of the film, which prompted one of the higher ups at the Marvel and Cinematic Universe to say absolutely unequivocally not. They will not do that. Our king has is gone, has passed, and they don't know what they're gonna do. But
Well, I
you will
agree.
not see a CGI Chadwick Boseman. Rest in
I
peace.
agree. How could you? I mean, everyone on the planet knows that he passed away. It's it's in poor taste to CGI him in,
Yeah.
if I'm using that as a verb. I think it's in poor taste. I think if you play it off as he had a royal death, something distinguished, honorable, as he lived his life, and he passed it on to his sister, and his sister took the mantle. I think that's a storyline that I think will gain favor with people and maintain popularity and your viewership. I don't see how you necessarily need to CGI his thing. If they can do it in a cartoonish form without showing his face and kind of allude to kind of like how the Hulk did once in one of the Hulk versions and kind of allude to how he met his demise, maybe I could see it as you're marrying animation and film. But the CGI I think is in poor taste, and I agree with the higher ups. Rarely will I do that, but I agree with the higher
Yeah.
ups in
Well,
this
I
matter.
think check this out. This would be a perfect, at least for me, introduction to the next Black Panther or the ending of a chapter. You start off with the funeral of Black Panther, of T'Challa. You don't show him, but everyone is at the funeral, either
And they
just
know.
at the funeral, and they know it happened. You don't have to go into details what happened. He got sick, whatever. That heroically doesn't matter. It's not, we leave it to the audience to figure out, you know. And
Right.
then throughout the movie, you have that. I guess you have that struggle. In a struggle, you have that battle for who will take the crown. Will it be Shuri? Will it be M'Baku? Will it be someone else whom we don't even know yet? The rumors that to bring back Killmonger, but we all know that Killmonger met his demise. On
We maybe know that. We don't know that. They
yeah,
left that open ended.
I
I
guess
know it's a cheesy cop out.
I guess
It be played
nobody
as a cheesy cop.
nobody no crime. I guess, but and look, I mean, we still like I said, like same thing with the with situation with Aquaman too. We have plenty of time to find out. There's lots of rewrites coming, so even though it was scheduled to come out, I think end of 21 maybe or at the beginning of 22, that's no time soon. So you know. And lastly, on Marvel, Ms. Marvel has begun shooting, and Moon Knight will start to shoot mid to late next year. I know probably mid next year for the end of 21. As soon as geez, Oscar Isaac finishes his mini series from the HBO, they'll start filming that. So now, how do you feel about, or how did you feel about Short Circuit, Johnny Five, back in the day?
I believe it was a decent movie. It has some good points. I think it was ahead of its time, but for some reason, maybe it was choppy acting, poor advertisement. It didn't catch the kind of buzz that it should have. I think they played off a little bit of some stereotypical stuff, which did not play out well. It does not have the draw. I mm, kind of 50-50, and it's almost a little forgettable. How do you feel?
I thought it was all right. I mean, you really gave me I almost feel bad saying it was all right. I mean, it was fluff, enjoyable fluff. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can see how things could have been different and whatever. I mentioned it because they're planning a reboot, a Latino-centric reboot. So, I mean, yeah, there's that.
I mean, the reboot, yeah. I mean, I think it all has to be in the advertisement and maybe some star power. That's probably the other thing of it.
Well, I mean, remains to be seen
If
about
you do
that.
an indie movie or a low budget movie, it has to be extremely phenomenal so that you generate a buzz. If you don't carry that kind of heavyweight star, you're already starting in the back pole position.
Now, in news that people might care or might not care, very, very specific fan base, you have possibly a
No,
Bloodshot 2 coming, if anyone cares. Exactly. Bloodshot
yeah.
2? Anyone?
we barely reviewed one.
Bueller? Bueller.
No Bueller here.
Okay.
Well, now we're on the if we're on the 50-50 interest line here. I think Sunday, was it Sunday or last Sunday? One of which, again, 50-50 interest, concluded the mid-season of, I was going to say Fear the Walking Dead. That's horrible. Kids the Walking Dead? After School Special Walking Dead?
Right.
What do you call it? Kids in the Hall Walking Dead?
Kids in the Hall Walking Dead. I like that.
Where I saw a quote in some Flash article, not going to quote them, not going to give them the pub, but it said something about the children, teenage survivors talk around a dumpster fire for about 90% of the episode. That, in a nutshell, sums up the show thus far.
Yeah.
The only interest grabbing apparently has to be the credit 30-second clip of the scientists working on the A or B zombies and test subjects working for a cure or testing it out, and whether foreshadowing whether Rick Grimes is part of that future to parlay into either his movie or what ends up being the last season Walking Dead. Who knows? In my greater opinion, it's been nothing short of a monumental flop.
I'm sorry, I was dozing off for a second. It wasn't you. You were captivating. It's just the subject matter was kind of getting to me.
So we'll decapitate that zombie right now. Good Lord. Oh my God. Good Lord. Okay. What else? Anything on the docket?
Umbrella Academy is renewed for a third season again.
Fantastic. I thought it was one of the more underrated, excellent shows out there. I'm glad to hear it.
Now,
1 and 2 were spectacular.
Are you ready for Night Has Fallen?
No.
The silence and ominous. Mike Banning is back with another action-filled opus. Night Has Fallen. It's the fourth movie of the Olympus Has Fallen. What the Olympus Has Fallen? What was the other one? London Has Fallen. Angel Has Fallen, or whatever. What was the other one? Something, Gerard
My
Butler.
diaper.
Your diaper has fallen. Well, yeah, get ready. They're making Night Has Fallen and plus another 2. So it could be between 4 and 6 movies, the whole opus. Or, I didn't think, hey, Olympus Has Fallen was a cute movie. I mean, it wasn't all that. I mean, but to make another 5 movies after that, I mean, and we can't get a freaking
He's somebody's uncle, or you know what? A mean one. I'm gonna leave it at that. He does a mean one, and he keeps getting the old green light. You out there, you know what I'm saying, without saying it. So.
And last one, and second to last, did you know that there's a sequel to Silence of the Lambs?
The sequel to the movie or the book?
Actually, it's going to be a show sequeling. A sequel to the movie in show form for CBS. It takes place a year later.
Okay, so wait. We're talking about he's the first season in Baltimore, Maryland, where we introduced to Lecter. Then you talk about the second season where he's in Italy.
No, we're talking about After Silence of the Lambs. I mean, as far as I know, After Silence of the Lambs, it's the continuing adventures of Clarice.
If I had to do an interest meter, I mean, it falls slightly above Fear the Walking Dead and a little bit less than Are the Jets going to get the number 1 pick?
And for all you people know what a Jets reference, we are from the East Coast, so therefore the Jets are a football team that are atrocious.
Let's finish with a tidbit on football then. Go Giants!
Go Giants. And last but not least, Arnie is back. He has a show coming out. The Bidding War was won by Netflix. It's going to be a spy espionage drama in which I'm assuming him and his daughter in the show, that's it. Not many more details have been released, but we all know that, the ex-governor will also produce and will star.
Well, I'll just leave this out there for everybody, especially Hollywood, and to your agents out there that are listening, that are drafting these horrible scripts, and even those in charge of big budget movies such as Marvel and DC's line. Please hire and give a shot to myself and Izzy, because we can come up in our nightmare sleeping 5-minute cat naps better plot lines than what's out there thus far. So just give us a holler and we'll help you out. Because all right, if it sounds like I'm begging for a job, I'm not. Yes.
And not so much breaking news, but now that I'm just checking right now, looks like the CW has begun development of Wonder Girl, a DC Comics adaptation, and the first Latina superhero title character of a DC series. Now, okay.
In relation to Wonder Woman?
Don't know. The series centers on Yara Flor, a Latina dreamer who was born of an Amazonian warrior and a Brazilian river god.
Well, that's a storyline. I take it all back about wishing for a job in Hollywood. In my wildest dreams, I would have come up with that one. Maybe after a 2 White Castle evening, maybe.
Who learns that she is Wonder Girl. With her newfound power, she must fight the evil forces that would seek to destroy the world. Oh.
Maybe she's really the Chitara girl or whatever. All right.
And with that,
okay.
I got nothing. That's it. I'm done.
No, we do it a lot, people. Especially we've bridged the gap to our video gamers out there, and there's more to come on that end. Hey, stay tuned. We're giving to you as much as we can, as quick as we can, all the breaking stuff happening in the biz.
Yeah, all you guys who do have the Xboxes and the PS5s, enjoy it. Keep playing, keep gaming, and let us know how it's going. What's your favorite game so far? And as usual, subscribe to our podcast, like, and comment on our videos. If you can, if you guys like what we're doing, share it. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in with us once again. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Save the whales. Keep listening.
Take care, guys.